All right, so this is gonna be a little foot program to make your feet healthier, because healthy feet make everything up the chain healthier. And I personally had, and still kind of have, a ton of problems with my feet. I'm getting out of it, but tight shoes, tight cleats, when I was younger, even shoes that were too big, locking my feet in shoes, orthotics, a lot of things have made my feet weaker, and that is my weak link, my feet and my ankles. But I'm working on making them better, and I'm going to share with you a little program that I came up with. So first off, you're going to get the tissues nice and loose by doing a hand-foot glove. So this is what it looks like. Put your fingers between your toes and you work your foot. You could do this for like a minute and a half, plus or minus 30 seconds, but really give them love. You could also put toe separators on during this first superset that I'll show you. And you could have them on before or after. Before would be good to get everything nice and loose. Then you don't really have to do the hand-foot glove. You could also do soft tissue work on your feet, whether it's digging in with a ball or massage gun, whatever you have, foot roller, and that'll help loosen up the tissues so the program will go smoother. Yeah, I also had plantar fasciitis for quite a while, and it was not fun, but luckily I got rid of that. I should make a separate video about that, but so you're doing this, good. If that's too intense, you do a couple fingers at a time. You start with 2, and then you go 3, but whatever you can handle at the time. I'm gonna have to take it session to session, because some people's feet can get really smashed together, and that might not be possible. Okay, so after doing that, we're going to do the first set of exercises, which is going to be the crouch rock, I call it, and the toe flexion stretch. Toe stretch and deflection. So the crouch rocks are going to look like this. So ideally, you're like this, and you're rocking your knees down. Your toes are pointed straight. You are getting a good stretch in the plantar fascia. So people might run into trouble where they're feeling too much tightness in their knees where it's not even comfortable enough to do that. So what you can do is put something between your knees, like catchers wear knee savers, and that'll help take the stress off your knees. You even have like a foam roller or something bigger, or you can do it like this where you're supporting your upper body on something and you're just dropping your knees down from here. Okay, so then you want to make it harder. You can elevate your toes, and you can elevate them more. And eventually, you could double it up and elevate your whole foot and your toes, but eventually you want to be able to go all the way down, those toes fully extending. Okay, so we'll get 20 reps of that, and then you're gonna get 20 flexion stretch pumps. So you're going to push your toes into the ground and relax. Push and relax. If you're fancy, you could do 2 at once. Push, relax. Putting as much pressure as you can handle comfortably, where it's a good stretch, but it's not killing you. So some people might even just have to go like this, or they might just use their hands. Boom, boom, boom. And eventually you'll be able to put your full weight into it, which I'm not quite there yet, but I'm working on it. Because you can adapt to having like all your pressure and walking on your toes, but one step at a time. Eventually I will. So it's gonna be a superset of that. We'll do 20 reps of the crouch rocks, and then 20 flexion pumps, and we'll do that for 3 to 4 rounds. And every round it should get nicer and cleaner and smoother. And if it's really bad, the soft tissue work, like I mentioned before, might be good to soften the tissues up so you can actually work the range. Then we're gonna do some foot exercises, which look like this, some toe exercises rather, and you're going to lift your toe up, just your big toe up. So big toe thumbs up, 10 reps there, and then you're gonna extend all the other toes up. High as you can every time. And you can do 10, 10, 10, 10, 3 to 4 rounds of that. If you're having trouble doing this, what you have to do in the beginning is pin your toes down and lift up. Excuse my weird feet. They were tortured through my youth, and they're making a comeback. But same thing, you might need to pin them down, and that's gonna make it easier. Eventually, you'll be able to not do that, but you gotta wire your brain and your feet together a little better. So be it. And to make this not too much longer, we'll do those 2 supersets and then a basic old single leg balance. So where you are just trying to balance on your foot, and you should feel the muscles working. But if this is too easy, then you can do one of many things. One, you can make the surface you're on less stable, which is like this. You can have a foam pad. That's going to make it harder to balance. You can close your eyes. Closing your eyes, vision has a lot to do with your balance. So if you close your eyes, it's going to be much harder to balance. So you master those. You can combine those. Another thing you can do is get some tools at play. So you can try to, for this one, you can try to get 3 sets of 1 minute. And if you pass one level, you get on to the next. You can balance and do stuff with the upper body. So you can, if you know how to juggle, you can juggle. If you don't know how to juggle, you can just play catch with somebody else or toss it against the wall. Try to make your body reach, so you have to force your foot to balance you. And do that for a minute. You can keep making it harder. You can even combine the first 2. You can combine the pad and the eyes closed. You can get a balance board if need be. There's always ways to make things harder. You can balance on a foam roller. That could be tough. Half foam roller to start, but keep pushing it until your feet are actually working. Another one I wanted to include, it's an honorable mention, is the short foot. So you can also include this. And the short foot, I'm not the world's best demonstrator of this yet, but what you do is flex your foot. So you're trying to bring this part of your foot and this part of your foot together, almost artificially making an arch. And if it starts to cramp a little bit, then you know you're doing it right. But the first time you do this, it's gonna feel like a cramp. I'm scrunching my toes a lot. You're supposed to really just use the plantar, the intrinsics of the foot, and the everything under the foot to pull in. So those muscles are supposed to be working, but you might feel like you need to crunch your toes. But as long as you're feeling it in the right spot, you're feeling this get worked, then it's good. And then you can eventually do the short foot exercise while you're balancing. So there's a lot of options here, but you can kind of separate them. If you have no sense of getting that short foot at all, what you can do is towel crunches, and I will get you an example of that right now. Okay, and towel crunches, if you ever had any problems with your feet and went to physical therapy for it, you've definitely done these. But you get some kind of slick surface and you crunch the towel. And you could try to mimic that short foot while you're doing it. So spreading your toes, crunching, and you're trying to make that arch. Trying to make that arch. Trying to bring that towel in and make the arch. And I think that's good enough for now. There's more that I can include, but that should be plenty if you're trying to make your feet nice and strong. And enjoy. Any questions? Let me know.